Welcome to Art Schools Network's No More webinar series. Today is the first of three-part episode on media arts standards. Today's episode 1 is the National Core Art Standards, the 21st Century and Media Arts, Who, What, Where, and How. I'm Christy Calloway, your host and Executive Director of Art Schools Network. We are dedicated to providing leaders within art schools quality resources, support, and networking opportunities. Our members are all over the world, mostly in the United States. We'd love for you to join us. They are all types: elementary, middle, high, private, public, charter. If you're an art school, you should be with us. Become a member. Today, again, we're going into the National Core Art Standards for the 21st Century. I have a special guest on the phone with me. This is Ms. Corey Wilkerson. She is the project manager for CDAE, which represents the State Education Agency Directors for Arts Education. This is all of the states in the United States each have a coordinator for the arts at the state level. And Ms. Corey Wilkerson is the project manager over the National Arts Standards. I am glad to have her with us today on this webinar, and I'd love for her to say hello to everyone.
Hey, Christy, thank you for that warm welcome. I'm so happy to be here.
Today we're going to be going into, yes, please.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Christy. I got so excited there about telling you about the new National Art Standards, I just jumped right in. I'd like to share with you first a little bit of an overview. They were published, as you know, on June 4th, 2014, and they actually were the revisions of the 1994 National Art Standards, which were published in dance, music, theater, and visual arts. But what we're really excited about is for the first time they include media arts standards. So I'm betting you want to know who created them. They were created by a coalition of arts organizations, funded and directed and managed the work over the course of 3 years. And folks working were working in person and virtually. The vision was supporting K-12 arts instruction, and the goal was a reimagining of the 1994 standards to better define high-quality arts teaching and learning pre-K through 12. There were 5 writing teams, one for each discipline, chosen from all across the country, and it all call out to the field. The writers represented diverse teaching situations from grades pre-K through 12, higher education, rural, suburban, urban, and 30 of our 50 states. There were also 6,000 reviewers. During the writing, drafts were reviewed by the field using open source technology, and we received comments from over 6,000 teachers, teaching artists, administrators, parents, and students, which we compiled, sliced, diced, and analyzed, and sent them directly to the writers to guide the revisions.
That's so impressive.
I was very impressed being a part of this process. Thank you for interjecting that. Well, why did we want to do this anyway? Why rewrite the national standards? To meet the needs of 21st century learning. That was the top one. A lot of things have changed since 1994, but also to remind us that the arts are a core academic subject. And why national core art standards? Because the standards were a national effort. They were state-led and they were teacher-driven, and they involved thousands of educators across the nation. And core, to remind us, just like that apple, that the new art standards are core academic subjects, actually defined by policy in the Elementary and Secondary Education Act and Title IV.
Where are we right now with that, with the core, and which I know that we're up for renewal and we've been waiting. What's the current stance on that?
The Elementary and Secondary Education Act is still waiting, still up for renewal. Americans for the Arts have kind of updated us on the policy. They said they don't anticipate it happening anytime this year, but one never knows.
Thank you.
So what is a standard anyway? I bet you were going to ask me that. A Google search that I did produced a variety of definitions, so let's look at them quickly. It's a level of attainment, an idea or thing used as a measure, a norm, or a model, a document that provides guidelines or characteristics that can be used consistently, and then my favorite, a directional device or a roadmap. Standards are also an important intersection between educators, administrators, and parents, and the students. So if you look at my little diagram, they serve as a source for literacy in the arts. They also pave the way for access. They help support advocacy, and they communicate what students should be able to know and do across the sequential arts education. These particular standards are grounded in the idea of artistic literacy, which in our conceptual framework we defined with a group of philosophical foundations and lifelong goals. Artistic literacy really means lifelong learning. 5 basic ideas. The arts as communication. To be artistically literate means to utilize media, symbols, and metaphor to play with and communicate ideas. Creative personalization, and also to know and understand the arts as a deep connection to culture and history. And finally, to find joy and well-being in the arts and seek out arts experiences in your community. Those are the goals and the things that are informing the standards. The new standards are also a process model, very different from 1994. So there are 4 artistic processes defined here: creating, performing, presenting, producing, responding. Or, I'm sorry, creating, performing, presenting, and producing, which really are that one function nuanced in our disciplines: responding and connecting. Artistic processes are cognitive and physical actions by which arts learning and arts making are realized. Here's the shape overall of the standards. These 4 artistic processes kind of form the organizing structure of the standards and describe art making. But then 11 common overarching anchor standards really articulate what artistic literacy means across all the disciplines. Finally, at each grade level, there are anchor standards broken down into specific student know and do's. So each discipline tells what it looks like pre-K through high school. And they're supported with some wonderful resources: Enduring Understandings, Essential Questions, Model Cornerstone Assessments, Process Components. You can find them all.
That's fantastic.
Yes, go right ahead.
Well, I want to go back to this slide real quick. How did you guys come up with, I love this representation of the CRPR, RECN. How did you guys come up with that? I see that it's branding across all of the standards. I think it's brilliant.
Do you mean the artistic processes themselves or the symbol for it?
The symbols.
The symbol was our brilliant web designers at Railgrant. So they really translated, they had a wonderful handle on what we were all about and what we were trying to say, and they translated that into this beautiful circular symbol for us.
Well, they did a fantastic job. I've done a lot of exploring on the website, and it's very easy to understand because of that graphic organization. So
yes, they really did. They really made it real.
Okay.
Sure. So here are the anchor standards, and I won't read them to you. They're available on the website. But just know that there are 3 in creating, 3 in performing, presenting, producing, 3 in responding, and 2 in connecting. And these just kind of describe the general knowledge and skills that students are expected to demonstrate throughout their education in the arts.
Fantastic. And I noticed that you could actually, I love the word artistic is in every single anchor standard. And it seems like it could almost easily lend itself to integration when if you were to add other subject areas to generate and conceptualize artistic and fill in the blank. That's fabulous. Your website.
That's the website, www.nationalartsstandards.org. And I'm so glad you said that you've been able to play around on it, Christy. As you can see, that pie chart in our beginning is represented here on the front page with all of the different, it really is one to explore, all the different places you can explore. You can create your own custom handbook of the standards that matches your needs using this website. So if you're a kindergarten teacher, you can print out just kindergarten standards. If you're an arts administrator, you can print out all disciplines, or you can sort it just into those bigger grain size of the anchor standards.
And this is just the standards. When we go into our next couple of episodes, you're going to talk to us about drilling in. So it's tempting to ask some questions here, but we'll hold off and move to the next slide here.
Thank you. Yes, I will. So the last question people always ask me is, so now what? How will these new standards be used? Will they be adopted by states, adapted by states, or ignored? And I just want to point out the voluntary National Core Art Standards are voluntary, and each state will choose if they wish to adopt them as policy, exactly as written as our golf carts on the right there, adapt them in their own unique needs as the golf cart on the left, or ignore them. But no
we
matter
know that
what
they're
you
going to
decide,
They're going to
I'm
embrace
sorry?
them. We know they'll embrace them.
Oh, there's so much positive energy out there. We're hearing a lot of good things.
We have our conference next month in Denver, and they're showing off how they're using the new standards and tying it to teacher evaluation already, which is exciting.
That's a wonderful segue into this last kind of reminder, because no matter if your state adopts them or if you use them at your building level or if you as a teacher use them, people are finding that these are a wonderful way to target goals for student learning. So it's interesting to see that already some of our states are making that leap into utilizing them in the classroom. So spread the word, everybody. www.nationalartsstandards.org, if you don't mind my shameless commercial, Christy.
Please, plug away.
And one last plug then for our media arts community. If you're a media arts teacher, join us. We don't yet have an organization for media arts educators, so we're building a community at www.mediaartseducation.org.
I'm so happy to hear that, because all of our art schools have media arts as one of the disciplines, or most of them do, and they do feel isolated. And so for you guys creating this coalition for them to go to be their professional membership affiliation is quite valuable, and we will certainly encourage our teachers to join your cause.
Well,
Next
thank
week,
you so much.
Yeah, next week we'll be in Denver. I wish Corey could be with us, but in a few minutes we're going to record episode 2 and 3 for our membership. I'm Christy Calloway. We thank you for joining us today, and we hope that you'll listen to our next 2 episodes on diving deeper and using Cornerstone's assessments. Thank you, Corey, for joining us today.
Thank you, Christy.